Pitch-black darkness. The unbearable stench of rotting flesh, human skulls and splintered bones crunching beneath his bare feet, locked 30 feet beneath the earth in the dreaded Charnel Well of Rasar. Tibet with a shattered right arm, no food, no light, and zero human chance of survival. The Tibetan executioners slammed the heavy iron grate overhead, turned a massive brass lock, and threw the only key into the mountain mist. He was left to rot among executed criminals. But on the third night, in total darkness, the heavy iron lock began to turn from the outside. To understand how an Indian traveler ended up in a death pit in the high Himalayas, you have to go back to December 16, 1904, in the Punjab province of India. A 14-year-old Sikh boy named Sundar Singh stood over a roaring fire in his family courtyard. In his hands was a Christian Bible. Driven by intense grief over his mother's sudden death and a deep hatred for foreign missionaries, young Sundar tore the scriptures apart, page by page, and threw them into the flames. Yet burning the book brought no peace. His soul remained in agony. Desperate for truth, he made a chilling vow: if the true God does not reveal himself to me tonight, I will throw myself under the 5 a.m. express train. At 4:30 a.m., Sundar prepared to walk to the train tracks, but as he turned his bedroom door handle, a glowing cloud of heavenly light flooded the small room. Standing before him, radiating divine peace, was Jesus Christ. A voice spoke in Punjabi.
"How long will you persecute me? I died for you."
The teenage Bible burner collapsed to his knees, his hatred instantly transformed into radical devotion. When Sundar declared his new faith, his wealthy Sikh family considered it an unforgivable betrayal. His relatives disowned him, stripped him of his inheritance, and slipped deadly snake venom into his evening meal. Thrown onto the street to bleed out, Sundar lay near death until God miraculously preserved his life. At age 16, Sundar made a decision that baffled Western church leaders. Instead of adopting European clothes or joining a foreign mission agency, he put on the bright yellow saffron robe of an Indian sadhu, barefoot holy pilgrim. When critics questioned his non-traditional style, Sundar explained his missional strategy with famous clarity.
"I am offering Indian water in an Indian cup. My people will not drink Western water from a Western vessel, but when I bring the water of life in an Indian cup, they receive it with joy."
He carried no purse, no shoes, and no weapons, only a New Testament in his native tongue. As he famously wrote in his journals,
"The true Christian is like Sadhu wood, which imparts its fragrance to the very axe that cuts it, without doing any harm in return."
Driven by a passion to reach unreached people, Sundar began making perilous annual journeys across the snowy Himalayan mountain passes into Nepal and Tibet, regions strictly closed to Christian preachers. Historical records from British travelers and local villagers document him walking barefoot across jagged ice, surviving frostbite, wild animal attacks, and severe persecution. In the Tibetan town of Rasar, local religious officials ordered his immediate execution. They dragged him to the town outskirts and threw him 30 feet down into the Charnel Well, a dry pit used as a grave for executed criminals. The violent drop shattered his right arm. For 2 days and 2 nights, Sundar lay in pitch darkness surrounded by human remains, clutching his broken arm in agony. Yet, even in the abyss, his faith did not shatter. He spent those agonizing hours in deep prayer, later writing,
"Prayer does not mean asking God for things we want. Prayer is the desire for God Himself, the giver of life."
On the third night, the heavy iron lid creaked open overhead. A calm voice echoed down through the darkness, "Grasp the rope." Sundar gripped the rope with his uninjured left hand. An unseen force lifted his body 30 feet straight out of the pit. When his bare feet touched the grass, his shattered right arm was completely restored. He turned to thank his rescuer, but the man had vanished into thin air. The next morning, shockwaves hit the town of Rasar. Sundar was back in the crowded market square, preaching Christ with bold authority. Furious, the chief official ordered his guards to find out who stole the master key to the well. But when the official checked his own belt, the heavy iron key was still firmly locked to his waist. No human hands had opened that pit. Is this story merely a pious legend? Historical evidence proves otherwise. When news of Sundar Singh's extraordinary life spread, Oxford University scholar Canon B.H. Streeter and British writer C.F. Andrews traveled to India to investigate his claims. After extensive interviews with eyewitnesses, church leaders, and government authorities, Streeter published a detailed biographical study titled The Sadhu, validating Sundar's supernatural testimony. In the 1920s, Sundar toured Britain, Europe, and North America, speaking to packed assemblies, including the Archbishop of Canterbury and thousands at Oxford University. Yet despite international fame, he refused wealth and titles, returning always to his barefoot calling in the Himalayas. This is not a myth. This is the real face of Sadhu Sundar Singh, known across the world as the Apostle of the Bleeding Feet. In April 1929, at age 39, Sundar packed his New Testament, put on his saffron robe, and walked into the misty Himalayan passes toward Tibet one final time. He was never seen again. He left behind no earthly possessions, no church buildings, and no known grave, only a life that proved his final, timeless declaration. From my many years of experience, I can unhesitatingly say, the cross bears those who bear the cross. Is your faith standing firm when trials press in? If this testimony stirred your spirit, like this video, subscribe to Roots of Bold Faith, and comment Amen below to honor his legacy.